Hi, everyone. So we are here with Sauda, and I am happy to be with Sauda to speak with her about her experience with captivating courtship coaching, and just give you guys some background insight and some amazing things. You've had a lot of good things actually happen since coaching and
That's
since being
amazing.
in
Yeah.
industry. So I am excited to speak with you today, and so you can share with anyone. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, first things first, can you just give everyone like a little bit of background about like where you're from, what you do, just all that background, family, kids, all that.
Okay. Really quickly. I was born and raised in New York, New York, New Jersey. I moved abroad and lived there for quite some time. Raised my kids there. And came back to the States a few years ago. I have four. Well, not kids anymore. I have two young adult children and two teenagers. Alhamdulillah. But yeah, two boys, two girls. And Yeah, that's what do I do? Right now I'm doing data entry and I've been a teacher as well. Um, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And you've been married before, so it's
Yes.
important for us
Mhm.
to also talk about that because that's kind of what led you
Yeah.
to doing coaching, right? So, what would you say were some of the key things and the key reasons for why you decided to join Captivating Courtship Coaching?
Okay. So I had just gotten out of my second marriage. And I was feeling kind of I don't know, just disappointed in myself overall and just kind of defeated. As far as marriage goes, and I wanted to give up on marriage completely. I was basically, I think I even said that I'm never going to get married again. And I was, yeah, done with relationships, and I was just going to work on myself and finding ways to make myself happy and have a better life for me and my children. And I definitely didn't want any more relationships after I got out of my second marriage.
So, what exactly made you get to that point where you're just like, I'm done. I don't want to get married again. I'm kind of done with relationships. What do you feel are some of like the pivotal moments that really brought you to that emotion?
Um, I felt like the relationships that I were in, I was giving everything that I had, literally everything, physically, emotionally, patience and care and love and effort and finance, like everything. I felt like I was just giving so much and I wasn't receiving that back. So I figured I either didn't know how to choose a right partner or that I was just the type of person that people just like taking advantage of. And I just wasn't good with relationships and I kind of just I gave up, you
Yeah.
know.
I think that that's a common point that a lot of women get to and realize that it's like something has to give,
Yeah.
something has to give. But I think that it's important that you mentioned that when you initially started coaching, you actually had the mindset of, I just want to work on myself. I still don't even want to be bothered. Like, you weren't
And I
like,
said that to you. I was like, I want to join, but not for the, match, the relationship part. I just want to get all the other stuff from it. And you were
yeah,
like, that's fine, you know?
yeah. And I say that because a lot of women will reach out to me and they'll say, I'm thinking about joining coaching, but I don't really want a relationship right now. I don't think that it's time for me to do that. I want to focus on myself. And that's kind of a determining factor. They're not sure if they'll still be able to gain just from being in the community if it's not solely focused on them meeting someone. And I always tell women, just get in the community, because once you get in there, there's a lot of other things that's going on with you internally and emotionally that needs to be cleared out regardless. So let's just get into the community. So I'm glad that you decided to bet on yourself and to make that decision and really commit to it, because you've been very committed. You show up to the calls, you engage, and you've been very present. And I think that that's had a big impact on your experience as well.
Definitely.
Now, could you actually share like what has been your experience with coaching and being in a group coaching environment?
Okay. So generally I'm a really introverted person. So I was nervous at first to join in the group calls, but it's come to be something that I look forward to every week, no matter how stressful my week is. It's amazing to sit down and talk with so many other women who are so similar to me. And I was thinking that I was, so alone or had some different issues, or like, no one could relate to me. And to have so many women say, "Oh yeah, I feel the same way. Oh yeah, I feel the same way about myself or about my past," and have that support and sharing stories and being there for each other. It's been amazing. Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's amazing too. And something you pointed out, I know um, another woman that's in the group, she
Mhm.
mentioned as well that prior to joining coach, she actually did one-on-one first, and then she joined the group coaching. And she said that when she was doing one-on-one, she still kind of internalized and felt like she was alone in what she was going through. But when she came into the extra community and saw that all these different women, regardless of religion, regardless of
Yes,
ethnicity or race, like they all are having a lot of similar experience and similar emotions that they're struggling with and mindsets that they're struggling with, like that itself was really comforting.
it is definitely.
So, what would you say are some of the changes that you've seen in your romantic life, in your love life, since you've been in coaching? Like, what are some of the key things that you've gained internally and then externally as well?
So some of the things that I've gained, well, yeah, I have had a lot of changes over this past year. First of all, just with myself and my self confidence, I learned a lot about digging into my inner self, going back to some traumas and dealing with them that I had never dealt with, um, having confidence and trusting in myself to make decisions, um, and just really digging deep. So it's changed my perspective on how I deal with people and other relationships, not just, romantic relationships, but just relationships with work and with friends and with family, setting boundaries and, being true to myself and realizing that I'm still gonna get respect and love, even when I have to say no. And I think that was something I was really struggling with before. Trying to always make everyone else happy, so I've changed the way I deal with people, and it has been all positive. There's nothing negative that's come from it. I've actually changed my work. I've changed my residence. Moved to a different location, and I'm in a relationship.
And
That's
you're
going
in a
good.
relationship.
Yes.
So let's talk about that because it
Yeah.
hasn't even been a year yet
No,
since.
actually, it's been I think it's been a year or not yet. Oh, was it
No, it
January?
won't
I
be
think I
a
met
year
this girl.
until about March or April. So it's been way less than a year since you've been in coaching. And in just that short amount of time, you went from, I just want to work on myself, I don't even want to
Yeah.
meet anyone, to we're
360.
starting premarital counseling. Like,
Yes.
it's been a big leap. So I
Yeah.
wanted to dig into that a little bit and talk about how did you get to that point? Like what changed? What were some mindsets or emotional changes that brought you to that point, to that pivot? And how are you going about things now differently? Like how has coaching impacted how you're showing up in this relationship and in this courtship process versus in the past?
Okay. So, I think the pivotal moments for me was really learning to value myself. And when I started thinking about my own happiness, I realized that I deserve to be in a relationship because that's what I wanted. And just because I've had bad ones doesn't mean that it's going to continue being that way, especially now that I have a system of you know making better choices and trusting the process and trusting my own intuition and my own self to make choices. I realized that, hey, this is something that I actually want. I was just afraid of it. And so once I changed my mindset about that, I then immediately I said, okay, well, I am interested in marriage, but then I was like, oh, it's not going to be anytime soon. But I haven't, taken it completely off out of the picture. And as we went through the different, modules and sections, we started learning how to, present ourselves and in writing and things like that. And as I was going through that, then I ended up meeting somebody, and then I was still not really believing that it was true. Just like, okay, well, this is just kind of like a practice, and it's not going to really amount to anything. But alhamdulillah, as I'm working on myself, the relationship kind of just grew, and I I'm trying to be a lot more in the moment, but also it's a kind of a balance. Like you have to plan ahead for the future as well, but also
Right.
just trying to live in the moment and enjoy this instead of um, thinking about all the negative things that can go wrong, and knowing that I always have the option to say no if things are not the way that I want them to be. If things turn toxic or bad or anything like that, I'm not stuck or trapped. And I think that was a fear of mine, that I was going to end up, trapped in like a bad relationship. And it's not it's not like that. You always have a choice. So
Absolutely. That makes me so like you can see my face right now, like I'm smiling ear to ear because that's so beautiful to hear and to know that you feel so much more empowered
I
right
do.
now, feeling so much more confident, so much more empowered, feeling like you are the chooser, you have more of a choice in the situation. And I also know that like your approach this time has been way different than your approach in the past. And
Yeah.
just like on the emotional side, when we talk about just being more feeling oriented, how does this courtship experience feel for you versus in the past?
Oh wow, completely different. And the fact that you said like I have a choice, that kind of I think we were kind of talking about that a little while ago as well. That kind of has been a major shift in my thought. And not that I didn't think I had a choice at all, but I think my previous relationships were kind of like someone said they were interested. I was really young, my first marriage. They approached my father, um, and it was like, okay, well, it's a good person, and boom, we didn't really get to know each other very much. I was raised in a very strict household, and so it was not a lot of communication. It was just like, okay, this is a good brother. He's going to provide for you, and if I was attracted enough to him, then that was pretty much it. And then we got married, and alhamdulillah, it is what it is. And my second marriage, I think, was it pretty much followed along the same lines, even though I guess my family wasn't really as involved. It was more of a fact that the brother approached me. Everything seemed to check off, and we didn't really take time to get to know each other well. Um, it was still kind of rushed into like, inshallah, we'll have time to build a relationship after, trying to do everything in the right way. Um, and I think I just realized exactly that I do have an opportunity and an obligation to myself to communicate with this person a lot more, make sure they understand what I'm coming from and my needs, and I can understand what their needs are, and that our goals are aligned, that our values are aligned, and that we're looking for a similar type of marriage, and that we actually can make each other happy. Everyone's not for everyone, and it's like sometimes people like push you like, oh, you're supposed to try to get married quickly and don't take more time or whatever it is. There's so many things people say, try to push you to to push you to move more quickly, and I'm refusing to move quickly. I'm going to take as long as I need to feel secure and to feel love, which I didn't do before. For me, it was kind of like, love will grow as the relationship grows, and again, that was just based on the way I was raised. um
I love something that you just said, and I want to just talk about that for a second because one thing that you just mentioned was everyone else putting their messages and their beliefs on you, and
mhm,
how in the past you would feel as though obligated to
Mhm.
live up to other people's beliefs, expectations, and those messages of who you are and what you should do and who you should be. And
Exactly.
one thing that we cover in module one, which is like the hardest module for most people to work through, is getting really clear on like what beliefs do you currently have that's preventing you from actually enjoying relationships, enjoying courtship, and also feeling worthy and empowered within yourself.
Mhm.
So you mentioned how like now you feel as though you are worthy and deserving, and there are new beliefs that you have, and how other, like what are some other ways that coaching has impacted the beliefs or giving you clarity on some of the past beliefs that you had that weren't serving you?
Um, oh, that's a heavy question. Um, you did touch on some of them, basically just being worthy and being able to make my own choices. And that I deserve happiness. I was raised very differently from a lot of people, but I was kind of raised with the expectation that I was going to be like I had to be a good wife. And not that I don't want to be a good wife, but like the whole purpose was to serve a husband, you know, of marriage. And I realize now that that's not what it is. A marriage is a partnership, and that we both have obligations and to each other, and and that there has to be love first. You know, I think that's a major shift is uh love and communication, and those things have to be there for there to be a successful marriage. At least that's how I feel now, and this is what I want for myself. Um,
Really also how love feels for you,
oh,
like getting
oh
clear on
yeah,
what that actually feels like for you.
oh definitely. Um, yeah, I think subhanallah, like I said, and in comparing to my last marriages, because we didn't start off even knowing each other very well, it took a while for any type of love, real love, to kindle. And by the time it did, we were already in full, mode or whatever system we had kind of fallen into already. Um, so I feel like there wasn't a lot of space for growth, and getting it's just understanding each other and learning how to communicate with each other properly. It was kind of just like we just fell into a routine, and I just kind of was
Like
going
very
along with that
dutiful,
person.
like a real dutiful relationship versus like an
Yeah,
authentic and genuine one.
exactly. It was just like a routine, and I was just doing whatever my responsibility was, and it wasn't real, and it wasn't loving, you know.
Mm, mm, it's so
And
good.
yeah, so
So,
definitely.
what advice would you give for women who are thinking about joining, but they're not 100% sure if it's a good fit for them, or they may not be very comfortable with the group coaching aspect? How, like, any benefits that you would want to inform them of, or just like what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about joining Captivating Courtship Coaching?
Okay. I would definitely encourage any woman, no matter their age or their past relationships, if they've never been in a relationship before, or if they're, formerly have been in a relationship, I would definitely encourage them to join. And again, do it like for yourself. I think people join for different reasons, but the majority of us, what we take from it is our own empowerment um, as well. And I've met so many beautiful women in the group from different, countries, different states, well, and different walks of life, successful women. It's not like, just you know, not to label people, but it's not just, any old people. They're, strong women who are strong in other aspects of their life, and are just, maybe struggling in this area of relationships. And a lot of it has to do with, things that we've been taught earlier on in life, or are struggling with our own values with relationships, for instance, or things that have happened, and past traumas in relationships and things like that. So even if you have other areas of your life that you feel that you're successful in, um, if you're struggling with feeling, value or self-worth, or just, forming a good relationship, or even looking for a new relationship for the first time, there's a wealth of information that you can get from this program. And the bond with the community of sisters um, is something you cannot put a value on. It's something that's changed my life. Definitely, it's I. I encourage so many people already to join. Like all of my girlfriends, I always, encourage them to join. I'm like, you have to check out this stuff. It's so deep and it's so life changing. And that's yeah. It
That's
doesn't
so
matter who you
beautiful.
are, you can benefit from it.
Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Sauda. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for
You're
sharing this
very, very
information, sharing
welcome.
your story, your testimony. And I'm excited because, like I said, it hasn't even been a year yet. So
Yeah,
you're going
yeah,
through so many changes and transformation in such a short
yeah,
time.
yeah. And I thank you so much for encouraging me to join and for
Yeah.
supporting me through all of this, and continue support. I still go back and check the modules. And when I'm feeling weak or nervous about something, and every time we have a talk, it's just new little gems that are thrown in that I might not even thought about before. So it's been an amazing experience, and my world has changed. So I'm excited for the future again, and I wasn't before I joined. So thank you.